You want to be as healthy as possible for as long as possible, and while there's plenty of controversy about what's the best diet, it's pretty well established that vegetables are good for you. But what are the best ones? That's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. Plus, we're going to cover one vegetable that's probably the single healthiest vegetable that you can eat towards the end of the video. So to start off with, if your goal is fat loss, pretty much all non-starchy vegetables are great choices. Whether that's spinach, celery, broccoli, cauliflower, etc., they're all great choices. Why? Because they have a high volume and low calories. In other words, they occupy a lot of room in your stomach without having much calories. For example, a cup of raw spinach is only about 15 calories. A cup of cucumbers is only about 8 calories. But the amount of room it takes in your stomach is substantial. To compare that, a cup of pasta or rice or potatoes is about 300 calories. So the volume is the same, but the calories are much higher for the starches. Now there are certain vegetables that stand out. For example, broccoli has some unique benefits. Along with its benefits on weight loss, there are other benefits like improved blood sugar control, improved heart health, as well as potential reduction of liver problems. For one thing, if you lose weight, you'll also get the benefits of weight loss like better blood sugar control, etc. Another fantastic vegetable that goes beyond just its caloric content is celery. One of the great benefits of celery is it contains something called phthalates. This has a number of effects. Phthalates help you lower your blood pressure for a number of different reasons. One is something called vasodilation, which means the opening up of a blood vessel. That's one example. Another one is the reduction of cortisol. And cortisol is a stress hormone that closes blood vessels. And if this lowers cortisol, it means you have the opposite, the opening of blood vessels. Another one is celery is a diuretic. It makes you pee more, but it's not like it dehydrates you. What it does is it makes you pee out water that you shouldn't have had to begin with. And lastly, celery is anti-inflammatory. Inflammation is often a root cause of lots of different conditions, including type 2 diabetes and hypertension and others. Another fantastic vegetable that has benefits beyond its caloric content is spinach. One of the few vegetables that's actually high in iron is spinach, but I emphasize this is only true for cooked spinach. Raw spinach does not have that. To figure out what makes something high in iron, we need to know what are the iron requirements. So for premenopausal women, they need about 18 milligrams of iron per day. Postmenopausal women and men need about 8 milligrams of iron per day. Keep those numbers in mind because let's talk about how much iron does cooked spinach have. 1 cup of cooked spinach has between 6 and 7 milligrams, which is very, very substantial. Now, yes, a lot of people will say there are 2 types of iron. There is heme iron and non-heme iron. Heme iron is better absorbed and is found predominantly in red meat as well as white meat. Non-heme iron is not as well absorbed. Those are all correct arguments. However, one study showed that even spinach consumption raises the hemoglobin levels of anemic women. So even though it has lower absorbed iron, it still raises the hemoglobin levels, which is a marker of anemia. And yes, non-heme iron is lower in bioavailability, but there's a simple solution to that. When you combine iron with vitamin C, the absorption of iron goes up. Fortunately, spinach has both. It has both iron and vitamin C. 1 cup of cooked spinach has approximately 80 milligrams of vitamin C, so it does enhance the iron absorption. And the bottom line, yes, it actually improves hemoglobin levels. Another fantastic group of vegetables is mushrooms. All mushrooms are high in B vitamins, especially vitamins B1, B2, and B5. All mushrooms contain between 20 and 40% of the daily requirements in somewhere between half a cup and a full cup. And this applies to all mushrooms, whether that's white button mushrooms, cremini, shiitake, maitake, reishi, they're all good for you. In one systematic review, mushroom consumption also reduced triglycerides and a marker of inflammation called CRP, or C-reactive protein. Another fantastic group of vegetables is bell peppers. Again, they're all good for weight loss because of the high water content and the low caloric content. But bell peppers have one additional benefit. They are one of the highest foods that you can eat that's high in vitamin C. Now, what does it mean to be high in vitamin C? To be high in vitamin C, we have to understand the requirements of vitamin C. So here are the requirements. Men need about 90 milligrams of vitamin C per day. Women need about 75 milligrams of vitamin C per day. How much do bell peppers have? Well, 1 red bell pepper contains 150 milligrams per day. That's almost double what both men and women need. 1 orange bell pepper contains about 120 milligrams of vitamin C. To compare that to an orange, 1 medium orange contains 70 milligrams and 1 kiwi also contains about 70 milligrams. So Bell peppers, again, are the main lesson is that they are a very, very concentrated source of vitamin C, better than oranges and better than kiwis. Two fantastic groups of vegetables are green peas and artichokes. Why? Because they are super high in fiber. As I talk about in my book, Type 2 Diabetes Reversal Secrets, diabetics have higher fiber requirements compared to non-diabetics. Non-diabetics need about 14 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories. Diabetics need between 17 and 20 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories. So they have to be extra mindful of their fiber intake. And green peas have about 9 milligrams of fiber per cup. Artichokes, one artichoke, has 7 grams of fiber per artichoke. As a result, it has very favorable effects on the blood sugar levels of type 2 diabetics as well as pre-diabetics, and as a bonus, it also lowers total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, and triglycerides. If you want help combining the right nutrition with exercise, we do that exactly for our clients, and you can see whether you qualify to work with us by clicking on the link in the description below, which will take you to our homepage where you can book a complimentary 10 to 15 minute Zoom chat with no pressure, no obligation, no sales pitch, just to see whether we can work with you. Another great vegetable is beets. Beets are great because they contain a high amount of something called nitrates. What are nitrates? Nitrates are a natural chemical found in beets, and what it does is it opens up blood vessels and improves your endurance. As a result of that, you actually have lower blood pressure because, again, blood vessels open up, especially the arteries. And another additional benefit is that it improves your blood flow to the brain. So it's not just good for the body, everything below the neck, it's also good for the brain. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, in one study, beet consumption improved endurance in endurance athletes. Another great vegetable is sun-dried tomatoes. Now people are thinking, well, what about regular tomatoes? Yes, regular tomatoes have their own benefits. Again, they are high in volume, low in calories. Sun-dried tomatoes have significantly higher calories, not quite as high as potatoes or rice or pasta, but certainly higher than tomatoes. However, they also have much higher potassium content than regular tomatoes. For the simple reason is that the water's been drained out of them, so it's a very concentrated source of potassium. What do you need potassium for? One of the things you need it for is good blood pressure levels. This is one of the most frequently recommended vegetables by us to our clients with high blood pressure. Finally, we get to the 10th vegetable, the one that is probably the most powerful vegetable in the world and has the greatest health benefits on different body systems, and that's garlic. In one systematic review, garlic reduced blood pressure in hypertensive individuals as well as total cholesterol. There were no other changes in the diet. They didn't reduce their junk food, they didn't start doing other things like medications or supplements, they just ate more garlic. In another study, garlic consumption reduced inflammation in obese individuals, so it actually somewhat negates the negative effects of being obese. So how much of these should you have? My recommendation for general health, these are 10 vegetables, just have one of these per meal minimum. If you want to have more than one, go ahead, but one of these per meal minimum, and even if your meal is not that healthy to begin with, having one of these vegetables with your meal will improve the health benefits of that meal. If you want to learn more about exercise and nutrition for people over 50, we have a special newsletter exactly for that purpose, and it's free. You can subscribe to it by clicking the link in the description below.